Alright. Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, rev your engines and get ready to head to the Motor City. It's time for SummerSlam in Detroit at Ford Field. SummerSlam took place last night. And technically early this morning, as you're gonna find out why. But as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst, just a man who enjoys a good time, which for the most part I had with this show. Some stuff, some good, some not as good, some surprising, both good surprising and not as good surprising. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So, for those of you who've seen these reviews of mine before, for like pay-per-views or premium live events, stuff like that, you kind of already know how this works. For those of you who haven't, it's going to be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about each match. We're going to go match by match, and there's quite a few of them here. 8 matches, technically 9, as you're going to find out why. But we started off with the opening match as Logan Paul battled Ricochet. So Logan Paul and Ricochet have been having their feud stemming back to the Royal Rumble, which, man, that's some good long-term storytelling. But and having their issues going all the way here, and Logan actually getting the win. And I did mention that this could go either way. I kind of did predict Ricochet. Just so Logan Paul can get his comeuppance, but I guess they didn't want Logan Paul to lose again. But this match was pretty fun for the most part, or not as much. Well, it still had a decent amount of high flying, but I don't think as much as people expected. But still a pretty fun match, a pretty cool way to open the show. And Logan makes good on his promise of having Samantha Irvin, who was the ring announcer, declare him the winner against her man and Ricochet. Yes, her and Ricochet are dating, and I did exactly that. I also popped for Ricochet's Optimus Prime gear. At least I think it's Optimus Prime. I couldn't tell if it was Optimus Prime or Detroit Steel from the Marvel Comics, but I think upon closer inspection, I think it is supposed to be Optimus Prime. But yeah, so Reed is a match between the two, and Logan Paul wanted to open up the show so he could head out and go see his brother Jake Paul as he battled Nate Diaz as a boxing match. Then next up was Cody Rhodes battling Brock Lesnar. Well, at least one story got finished for Cody, as Cody finally put away the Beast. He's finally brought it against the Beast, and I think in this match, really, I think people were kind of split on this match, including my friend Steve. He was wondering what was going on with this match, with Brock dominating a good majority of it. But then it hit me. Not just this match, but this entire feud. Now, people have alluded to this, but I think the whole point is Brock toughening up Cody. He trying to test his mettle, seeing if Cody is truly who he says he is, stemming back to the Raw after WrestleMania with Cody coming up short against Roman, wanting to make sure Cody was truly ready for not just Roman but the battles ahead. And so Brock they had a couple spots, including Brock trying to get the countout win, but Cody kept coming back up, kept fighting against it, and then Cody coming back with the heroic comeback, hitting the 3 crossroads. And every time he hits the 3 crossroads, I get PTSD of when he got spiked on the 3rd one by Solo back at Mania. But Cody wins, and Brock shakes his hand, hugs him, holds a hand up. Cody has earned the Beast's respect. And it was never explicitly stated why they were fighting, but I guess it's implicit that Brock was testing Cody and testing Cody's toughness, and possibly getting Cody to believe in himself, of which they alluded to on commentary. Did he have to go through this whole thing to get there? I don't know, but Cody does earn the Beast's respect. And this went a whopping 17 minutes, which may not seem that long, but this is a Brock Lesnar match. But Yeah. So Brock officially touting Cody, and afterwards in the press conference, Cody stating that we truly do have something special in Brock Lesnar, and we won't really appreciate him until he's gone. Which honestly, he is like kind of right about. Like Brock, the fact that Brock is still here and still somewhat dominant is insane to think about. Oh, then next up, I'm just gonna do this real quick because my camera's been out of focus for a little bit and it's starting to drive me crazy. But next up was the 25-man Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal, aka here's your LA Knight win, because other than LA Knight, I didn't see anybody else winning this match. Like, if anybody else won this match, I think there probably would have been an actual riot. LA Knight, of course, has been getting a lot of traction, a lot of popularity as of late, so they had to give him something. They had to give him a big win at SummerSlam, and they gave it to him. But in case you're curious, all the people who were in this match were Apollo Crews, J.D. McDonough, Rick Boogs, Otis, Ivar, Eric, Shinsuke Nakamura, Tommaso Ciampa, Cameron Grimes, Austin Theory, the U.S. champion, Santos Escobar, Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser, Rich Holland, Butch, Matt Riddle, Omos, who dominated most of the match, and I'm actually reading this off in elimination order because they have them here in elimination order on the wiki, which is nice. It's The Miz, Grayson Waller, Karrion Kross, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, AJ Styles, who Cross helped eliminate AJ Styles by holding onto his foot as he was about to hit the phenomenal forearm, and Sheamus hitting the bro kick on AJ, meaning Karrion Kross and AJ Styles are going to continue their feud. And then finally, Sheamus himself as LA Knight eliminated him. But yeah, essentially just to get over LA Knight here and get him a win on SummerSlam, and they accomplished that goal. But also they had the commercial, like a new Slim Jim commercial, and not gonna lie, hey, it was pretty. Alright, so sorry about that quick edit there, but yeah, so the Slim Jim commercial that they had, the new one, of course WWE and Slim Jim have a new partnership, and the Slim Jim commercial was a little bit cheesy, but I also liked it. It was definitely in the vein of the old school Slim Jim commercials with Macho Man Randy Savage, the very iconic, very fun Macho Man Slim Jim commercials, and to see them continuing that on and having it be in that same spirit this time with LA Knight and Bianca Belair, that was pretty cool. And yeah, new major deal when it comes to Slim Jim. But while we're also talking about some extra stuff, I guess, is on the show. It was announced that the commentary teams for Raw and SmackDown are going to change up. So Michael Cole and Wade Barrett are now going to be on Raw, but on SmackDown, Michael Cole will be teaming up with Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves to call SmackDown, that means Michael Cole is going to be commentating about 5 hours worth of TV every single week. Wow, I do not envy him in the slightest, because that'd be kind of tricky, and there's the extra fact that they essentially have to hold their urine during the course of the show, which honestly is kind of messed up. Hey, let them go to the bathroom. Like, if I have to go to the bathroom, I'm just gonna go. And Booker T, he did that one time by accident, which is actually why we know about the rule and how he found out about the rule. Well, he didn't find out about it until he got back, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it is pretty messed up. But yeah, Michael Cole's gonna be doing 5 hours commentary every week. Which Michael Cole, well, props all the dedication he's put in over the years, dude. Especially now that he's allowed to essentially be let loose. Now that Triple H is mostly in charge, Michael Cole now being let loose, allowed to be more himself. But doing 5 hours a week, man. But yeah, so having to do 5 hours a week, that is Wow, that's insane to think about. But next up is going to be the MMA rules match. Or next up was the MMA rules match as Shayna Baszler battled Ronda Rousey. And actually defeated her by making her pass out. It was rule technical submission. This one, on paper, on paper it seemed to. What's the best way I can put this? It worked a bit better on paper than it did on execution. And they definitely tried. Like they had the referee do like the typical MMA type intro. Talking about defend yourselves at all time. I'm away from my instructions. Touch gloves. All that stuff. Of obviously wanting to have that presentation, and it makes sense because both Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey are familiar with the style. But when it came time for it himself, they you could tell they were definitely trying, but the fans weren't really fully into it. That and the fact that they just did in the traditional ring, they didn't bother having like an extra cage or anything, does kind of suck. But they tried, but the fans sadly weren't as into it as they could have been. Shayna does get the win though, which is nice. And even like the video package and feud feud going into the has definitely built this up. And I wouldn't necessarily call it bad, just more so a bit probably could have been better, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys thought about the match, as well as any of these matches throughout the course of this review. But next up, Gunther defending the Intercontinental Championship against Drew McIntyre. A couple things to note for starters. Yes, please. So he's the chops and all that were definitely on full effect here. Even Drew McIntyre's chest, you could tell he was bleeding from the chest. That's how hard they were getting chopped. Don't know if I liked it quite as much as like Gunther Sheamus or the Triple Threat from WrestleMania, but it's still pretty solid. And both men were really getting their times to shine. And really getting their stuff in, and really getting to showcase showcase like best aspects of it. And I think for the most part they work really well together. Again, don't know if I liked it quite as much as the other ones, but still really solid. But another thing interesting is that Drew McIntyre actually lost clean, which I did not expect at all. Also, no chicanery. Drew McIntyre or just lost clean, which is a little bit surprising considering he just came back. But then again, and I guess with how good the match is, outside interference definitely probably would have really soiled it. As we will kind of see later on in the night. Oh yeah, but yeah. So Gunther getting the win here, and he's going to break the Honky Tonk Man's championship record. Now, maybe it's just me, but I'd actually like to see Honky Tonk Man try and challenge Gunther. You could make it pretty much like a squash match if Honky Tonk Man is willing to take the bump. I think it'd just be a little funny thing, but maybe that's just me. But yeah, so Gunther, or congrats to Gunther because he's definitely earned that longest reign with the Intercontinental Championship. And it's still crazy that Honky Tonk Man has had the record pretty much up until this very point in time, and it's only just going to be beaten like now. That's insane to think about. But next up, for the World Heavyweight Championship, 7 years in the making, Seth Rollins battled Finn Balor. They really wove the story following Money in the Bank of it being 7 years ago at SummerSlam 2016. Holy crap, that was 7 years ago. I remember watching that match live, where it was for the Universal Championship. Finn Balor won the match, but was injured in the match after the buckle bomb into the I don't necessarily want to call it guardrail, but the barricade. I could not think of the word there, but Finn Balor been letting that Boyle been letting that fester up until this very moment, and even Finn Balor came out having like paint on his arm saying like 7 and signifying these 7 years since that happened. And Seth Rollins also coming out, at least with the vest part of his SummerSlam 2016 gear. Yeah, part of me would have liked to seen him come out with the full gear, but at the very least he had the vest. So I guess that's something. And it's crazy. And again, it's still crazy to think that was 7 years ago. And I remember Seth Rollins getting a lot of flack back then. And because this was not too long after he had just injured Sting with that same move at Night of Champions that year. Or not that year, but the previous year. Or so people were like almost calling for Seth Rollins' head. But yeah, it's crazy thing is 7 years ago, but now they battle here or for the World Heavyweight Championship. And pretty solid match between the two. I think Seth and Finn capable of putting on good matches, with each other. And Finn, they told the story of Finn and targeting the arm throughout, including nailing the buckle bomb on Seth into the barricade, and even Seth getting a few buckle bombs in his own right. But towards the end, Damian Priest came out with the Money in the Bank, tried to get Finn Balor to use it. Finn Balor didn't quite want to use it. And eventually the other members of the Judgment Day, that being Rhea and Dirty Dom, showed up. But Damian accidentally costing Finn in the match when Finn, as he attempted to use the briefcase, got tripped up. And Seth Rollins nailed the curb stomp right on top of the briefcase. In order to pick up the win. And so, and you see Damian Priest like, oh crap, face right after her. So I guess that's feud is continuing from there. Now, even despite the fact that it's a rematch that I didn't necessarily care for going into it, I think it was still a pretty solid match. Which one's better, this one or Money in the Bank? I think still a little bit down the middle. I might lean a bit towards this one, maybe, just for the added story. But honestly, I probably would just save this match for SummerSlam and just have Seth Rollins battle someone else at Money in the Bank. But still a pretty good match between the two, and we're gonna see the story continue between these two, who at least that being Finn Balor and Damian Priest, especially now that Finn Balor doesn't have the World Championship, and yeah, so that's gonna continue there. But then next up in the semi-main event, and I also forgot to mention this, but they try to, and they've been trying to do this a lot lately, trying to do the whole multiple main event, and this time it was the quadruple main event, and that being Cody Brock, the World Championship, I think this match as well, and then the actual main event. And for me, the main event is the match that closes out the show. Whether or that's the match that should have closed out the show or not, usually it can be up for debate, but normally for me, the main event is what closes out the show. This is the main event. This is the thing that everybody will remember, the last thing a lot of people will remember before or they go home, at least in theory, because like I said, it doesn't always pan out that way. But me, that's mainly my definition of main event. And you have like multiple main event caliber matches, and admittedly he's definitely could be considered that, but otherwise the main event is the final match. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. But nevertheless, in the semi-main event for the WWE Women's Championship, Asuka defended her championship against Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. For starters, they said this was the longest women's match in SummerSlam history at 20 minutes and 45 seconds, which is kind of insane, but also kind of surprising, both good and bad to think about. Lately WWE's been coming under like extra fire for how they booked the women's division, and I might make a video about it at some point. But yeah, both WWE and AEW's women's division kind of need some work at the moment. But nevertheless, having the triple threat here are pretty solid for the most part, playing to all three women's strengths, and it really seemed like it could go several ways at certain points, including Bianca accidentally. I don't know if it was a work or she actually injured her knee, but when he got knocked out of the ring and her like leg hit the steel steps, and she shouted an expletive that they forgot to bleep, but at least it sounded like it was the expletive. But then Bianca coming back in and picking up the win from there to become the new champion. And after she was in the figure eight, Charlotte trapped Bianca in the figure eight, Asuka with the mist. But then Bianca rolling up Asuka from there in order to get the win. And so congratulations to Bianca Belair for about like 2 or 3 minutes, because then Io Sky came out, cashed in her Money in the Bank, and then hit the moonsault. So Io Sky is now the new WWE Women's Champion, and she celebrated with Bayley and Dakota Kai, who was there. She celebrated with them. Apparently, Dakota Kai, even though she was there to celebrate with the rest of Damage Control, not quite ready to get back in the ring yet. But that was a cool moment. But congrats to Io on picking up the win there. I guess they probably didn't want to have like a heel cash in on a heel, in order to pick up the championship. Although I think that's been done before, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if I'm correct or incorrect about that. But nevertheless, Io cashes in and picks up the WWE Women's Championship here. And now for your one true main event, and tribal combat for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, as Jey Uso attempts to dethrone Roman Reigns, not just for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, but for the official title of Tribal Chief. For starters, this match was 36 minutes and 5 seconds, and that's not including Roman's entrance, which man, and I really noticed. I think I really noticed it here. Roman's entrances got a lot longer once he became champion, and him essentially slowly walks to the ring, and he goes out, does the pose, gets the championship, holds the championship up, then walks to the ring, and then goes around, like takes his time getting to the ring, then poses with the championship again. And like, man, Roman really milks the crap out of the entrance, but other than that, the match pretty decent for the most part. Both men really. And this match definitely more of an emotional match, as they often do with like anything surrounding the bloodline. And don't know if it was quite as good as the other ones. People saying this is the worst defense, and I think I understand, almost try to understand why, but that I think is kind of debatable. But it's still both men and wailing on each other with weaponry. Paul Heyman and getting his stuff in verbally. Having moments of fire as well against his cousin, including nailing the spear on him, and eventually making their way through the crowd. OJ even having the strap, which I think was a callback to their match at Hell in a Cell 2020. And they talked about kind of like the history between these two throughout the Bloodline storyline, and kind of recapping. And then Solo showed up, because of course he did it. Roman and Solo dominating Jey for a little bit. Until an accidental spear, as they're going for the spear spike combination, an accidental spear from Roman to Solo. And then they kind of tease more dissension between Solo. Alright, another edit there, but so dissension between Roman and Solo. Solo looking upset, like you spared me. What the heck? Heck, but then eventually he's taken out by Jay. A splash to the table, similar to what they did to Jimmy on SmackDown a little while ago. Which yeah, stay tuned. But Jay then hits the spear on Roman in the ring, and then hits the splash on the top, and then is pulled out by who? Jimmy Uso. Oh, and this I think is like the main point of contention when it comes to evaluating this match and what people feel about this match is the turn by Jimmy here. Jimmy is here because Jimmy essentially started this whole thing, started the whole rebellion against Roman, convinced Jay to come along, and then was taken out by the bloodline. So Jay, not just fighting for the championship and for position of tribal chief, but essentially fighting for his brother's honor, or only for his brother to turn on him. And even Roman looked confused, like the camera pan. Roman, I don't care what anybody says, as in the modern day and age, Roman might be the master like facial expression, because Roman just like, huh? He's like, okay. And then Roman hits the spear on Jay through the other table that was set up in the ring. There was two tables, one on the outside, one on the inside. Jay hit the Samoan drop on Roman on the table on the outside. Roman hit the spear on Jay on the table on the inside in order to retain. And like I said, that at point of contention when it comes in between people who in terms of whether or not this was a good defense or not, because it almost doesn't make sense. I think, and I'm kind of predicting the angle they're gonna go with here, or that being Jamie realizing that this is what happens when you truly defy the bloodline, and Jay, instead of checking on him, and at least in his words, essentially just went after Roman, not really caring about him. I think that might be the angle they're gonna go with there. The Usos have talked in the past about doing a one-on-one match with each other, and that is kind of a dream match. Actually, like, out of all the tag team partners that have faced each other one-on-one, the Usos haven't quite done it yet. So I think that may be coming soon. I don't think they're gonna wait until WrestleMania unless they do like a trilogy leading into WrestleMania. But yeah, so Jimmy, he has turned on Jay. The Usos are no more. The Usos, one of the longest standing tag teams in WWE. Jay officially on his own. And yeah, so that's how SummerSlam ends off. So, like I said, some interesting stuff, some good, some not as good. If I had to pick the strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest I might go with Gunther Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship, and the weakest I may have to go Shayna Ronda. I don't really want to count Io Bianca because that's a cash-in, but like the weakest official match of the night, probably Shayna Ronda, which is disappointing, or possibly the Battle Royal, even though LA Knight finally gets the win, and he gets the big pop for it. The LA Knight movement is still in full effect. Yeah. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on SummerSlam, on my review of it. Did you like to select SummerSlam? Did you like to select my review of it? And where do you think things go from here in terms of storylines? Because not really a whole lot gets resolved here. There's maybe only one, maybe two storylines that really definitively end and have resolutions to them. The rest, I'm probably still going to go from here. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.